Second meeting all time between these two programs, and as we mentioned, the 1400th game played in Rutgers football history, and a touchback to begin with. The quarterback, Stephen Krajewski, is a veteran. He comes in, he's had stops at UConn for 4 years.
Especially in what will be a hostile environment today. He knows that the entire roster will be counting on him.
As you can see, he accounted for 7 of the 8 touchdowns here this year. An ankle tackle. Yeah, split back system. With Palmer Smith getting the start. So 2nd and 9, only 1 yard on the first play of the game. And trying to take it on the outside, a first down pickup. 1st and 10 from the 40, flag coming out near side. Palmer Smith cutting towards the inside. Right now that is a pickup of about 8. Wesley Bailey making the play. We'll see what the flag's about.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 in the backfield, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
So 1st and 15 after the penalty. Krajewski to throw, but gets wrapped up and is sacked. Which you love, right? As a former defensive lineman.
Yeah, you reroute those guys.
2nd and 19. And they elect to go on the ground, and pushing it out is Flip Dixon, the Minnesota transfer. And at the line. And they bring it about 4 players, and Rutgers wraps them up. Bailey Marsola is your punter.
Get rid of it! No!
Rashad Rochelle will catch it at about the 34. Kyle Monungai starting out at running back. And he has been fantastic here this year. And finding Christian Dremel. Christian Dremel had that 69-yard touchdown play against Michigan last week on the 3rd play of the game, with Rutgers going up 7-0. Monungai, very shifty back, picks up the first down even with the contact. Monungai getting the start, but we could see 4, maybe 5 running backs here for Rutgers today. Seahawks showing blitz, and Wimsatt calmly finds his receiver Jackson, Jaquay Jackson, the transfer. The play to Jackson, a gain of 14 for the first down. Wimsatt gives to Monungai. Coming out of that timeout, 2nd and 9. Wimsatt back to throw, trying to loft it up. Jackson was his target. First incompletion for Wimsatt here today, but they divided it up on this drive here so far. 3 runs and 3 passes for the Scarlet Knights offense. Wimsatt instead will call his own number. A design quarterback run gets stopped. His career long is 51 against Temple. First year as a place kicker, it's a low kick. Rutgers has scored first in all 5 games this season. Remember, again, we talked about that 3rd play where they got a touchdown on Michigan last week and went up 7-0 against the Wolverines. And another touchback.
They should start with blocking Aaron Lewis. And I think game plan-wise, that'll help.
Number 71, near side of your screen. How about this defense, though, for Rutgers? You can use them for almost any kind of defensive situation.
I still haven't learned how to hit my 100.
Is that the only club?
Only one. Got the rest of them figured out.
No game. Watch number 22, Tyreen Powell. Rush end position. And he drops back. Krajewski gets swallowed once again, but a flag coming out.
Holding, offense. That penalty is declined, 4th down.
So if you anticipate that 22 Powell is going to rush off the corner, you want to turn the protection in that direction. But then you got a running back one-on-one with Aaron Lewis, who hit the quarterback more in 2022 than any other defender in the Big Ten Conference. So the matchup that they can dictate with the way that they will constantly roll bodies through and stem bodies around, this makes life really difficult, not only for the O-line, but the quarterback's the one who gets the headache at the end.
Aaron Lewis, 4 tackles against Michigan last week already. A sack and a half here today. And ties his single game high. Punt is fielded, but pushed back. Scarlet Knights offense picked up a field goal on their first drive, and this time Wimsatt going way deep downfield. His intended receiver, Isaiah Washington,
lost his footing during the route.
John Joya, another talented defender here for Wagner, providing some pressure on Wimsatt on that play. Second down. Nungai, left side, gets tripped up. Nungai struggled in couple of his Big Ten games here this year. Outside of that, his numbers have been impressive. He goes right up the middle.
He's gotten to the point now where when he sees a hole, he's far more decisive, getting it downhill immediately.
Was a Big Ten Player of the Week after that Virginia Tech game. They feed him.
He's immediately working and advancing on the defense.
Dremel and Washington, your receivers near side of your screen. It's Jackson at the top of your screen. Manungai again gets the call, and Manungai shifting through that Wagner defense, pushing his way.
An additional eyelash he can pick up by planting that foot and getting back toward the line of scrimmage, working back towards the defender to run over.
4 straight run plays, make it 5 straight run plays, but that time the Wagner defense sniffed it out. It's Jarrell Liverpool, the first to get to Manungai. Wimsatt, design quarterback run, and he gets pushed back to the 5-yard line. Wimsatt, all kinds of time. All kinds of time, and he misses his target, Jackson. 3 for 6 here this year for the Scarlet Knights offense. Wimsatt, again looking to his right. Touchdown, Dremel.
There's a confetti break.
False start. Abrupt movement by offense, number 33. 5-yard penalty. We'll retry.
So a longer extra point try. And it's good for Patel.
Going well beyond anything he had done prior to now. Onside kick here, dribbler.
Didn't quite get 10 yards.
Rutgers again trying to bring some pressure. And the first pass completion to Jalen Benelli. But he's going to feel that, a gain of 6.
Man. This is a secondary from last year.
Yeah.
What they began to do, just making nothing easy on the opponent.
2nd and 4 and a whistle. Couldn't get the time, or couldn't get the snap off in time. Then years later from that first football game, we've got all kinds of nice fun facts for all the history buffs. And a flag coming out. It looks like Max Melton might be the guilty party. We have really talented researchers to do all these fun facts and nuggets for us. Best opportunity here for this Wagner offense coming on this drive, getting good field position to encourage his offensive coaches to do exactly that. Here's 2nd and 9. Krajewski. And nearly a brilliant catch made by Benelli. Coming off that Merrimack game, Benelli had a touchdown, 5 catches, 48 yards, and the rookie of the week in the NEC. And again, off his same hands, Ryan Lisner attempting the kick. And it is no good. It looked like maybe it was partially deflected. Wimsatt hands it off to Sam Brown. 2nd and 3 for the Scarlet Knights. Again, it's Brown fighting his way to pick up a first down. See, 7 first downs already for the Scarlet Knight offense. Wimsatt back to throw for the first time on this drive. He's got a wide open Jackson who dives and makes the grab. 40 yards. The give again to Brown, gets tripped up a little bit, stopped at about the 20-yard line. Here's a 2nd and 6 opportunity. Sit to Brown. Gain of 2. So 3rd and 4. This drive, 4 runs, 1 pass. That big one to Jackson. Again to Brown. Brown right up the gut, and they get 1 and a little bit more. How about 3 to keep this drive going? A 1st down run. Wimsatt to throw, too high for Drummond. 6 plays on the ground, a couple of pass attempts here on this drive. 2nd and 10. Rolling out Wimsatt. Finds his tight end, diving for the end zone. Touchdown, Rutgers. Sean Bowman with his 1st touchdown of the season, and a flag on the near side.
The entire defense anticipated the run would come to the boundary side.
Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Wimsatt again decides to throw. To Drummond. Turns, ties for the end zone. Touchdown. His 2nd of the day.
After an expedited review, the runner was at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal, Rutgers.
And no Daniel Kaloka in the lineup for the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's been on the sideline. Defensive lineman for Wagner. And a short jaunts to the end zone for Sam Brown. And here's Patel. You know, Anthony, Sam Brown the 5th had his dad sing the national anthem. Sam Brown the 4th.
I was feeling the anthem. Sam Brown.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah, doing his best Sam Cooke impression.
Could be Ray Reed. Fields the kick. But it looks like they're going to say that there was a fair catch signal, and it was the off receiver that was doing that. The off, you see.
There was a fair catch on the play. The ball was caught by the non-signaling player. Therefore, the ball replaced at the 6-yard line. 1st and 10, Wagner.
And now starting this drive from your own 6-yard line, Palmer Smith looking for some daylight, and he finds it, kind of slips underneath some Rutgers defenders, and he gets 5 on that play. Krajewski rolling out, and he finds Kobe Ray Reed. Gain of 5, and a 1st down pickup. Like hearing the pads crashing, helmets colliding. Drops it off again to Ray Reed. 2nd and 6.
Push it!
A play on the ground. All right.
Oh, there's no.
We actually don't know the answer, in case you're wondering.
That's a terrible guess. It's not 2016.
Nowhere to go. Here for Wagner, Isaiah Eiton. Tailgate pregame show.
That's not cheating.
She talked about a 5-1 start in 2014, so I just made a guess. Krajewski forced out of the pocket and brought down from behind. Ankle tackle appearing in the backfield for Rutgers for the first time today. True freshman, 1 of 4 that the Scarlet Knights have on this roster. And they give to Benjamin, who sneaks around to the left side. You could also see Aaron Young, who returned to the season last week. Benjamin again cutting it back inside. 2 receivers to the top of your screen, which is where Wimsatt is rolling out. And Good defensive play by Christian Davis on the coverage to pat that one down.
You love a quarterback who becomes a big game hunter as he starts to figure things out there.
He looks for Jackson too, and Jackson's now at the near side of your screen. Looks to his right, Washington with a low throw. It's incomplete. Johnny Langan, a three-receiver set.
A lot of gesticulating at the second level from John Joya, directing traffic, moving the defensive line around, moving teammates around. 3rd and long here. See if they bring it.
Floats it to Jackson. Basket catch. Wimsatt keeps it himself. He's got some daylight. Wimsatt's into the end zone for the touchdown. 6 plays, 27 yards. 2:17 on that drive.
As he realizes the full arsenal of what he brings to the table as a playmaker, I think as they get back into Big Ten play, the legs of a healthy Gavin Wimsatt are really going to be hard to handle.
McIntomey with the kickoff. And here is Ray Reed, a good return across the 40. Ray Reed on the sideline, look out! How about Ray Reed getting tripped up? And again, some great opportunities. Seahawks just haven't been able to capitalize it on some decent field position. Ricky Sproul, I loved his phrase, that defensive coordinator right there you see on your screen. Turn the practice tape on without sound, and what does a team's defense sound like? Think about that.
What is Jay's full name again? Jeremiah?
No, it's Jay. It's Trevor Shorter on the move. And we got a whistle.
Offense. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Empty set here for Wagner. Krajewski, a quick throw, and finds Mark Didio. 2nd and goal. Wrapped up, nowhere to go. Maya Nahanatu, pink pants, right? Palmer Smith pushed away. 0 for 1 here today. Kick is up and good that time.
Nice! Nice! Nice!
And a touchback. I wonder somewhat at the confidence coming with Greg Schiano announcing him as the starter at this year's media days in Indianapolis. Wimsatt's going to take the sack. Very deliberate in making that decision this summer. So Wimsatt and this team could build on that. And another loss, his offensive coordinator, Kurt Shiraka, a new offensive coordinator, has talked about his focus to be decisive and confident this year. But on 3rd and 21 up against it. Manungai, speedy move, but well short of the 1st down. To Benjamin. Benjamin, good run, a flag coming out in the backfield.
There's a penalty marker down.
You can see how strong, though, on that run that Benjamin is to just get some yards after contact.
Yeah. Impressive physical profiles for both the experienced and the younger backs.
Holding. Offense, number 69. That penalty is declined. It's the end of the half.
Time of possession, not necessarily a stat that a lot of people pay attention to, but Rutgers has been so good at that. Rochelle fields the opening kick here in the 2nd half, and Rochelle's got a seam. Rochelle taking it across midfield and off to the races. Rochelle taking 6 and gets pulled down inside the 10-yard line. A return of 88. Switching things here at the line for Wimsatt. Play clock's at 3. To Manungai, swallowed up, trying to make that inside cut by Jalen Justice. Showing pressure, Wimsatt rolls right out of it and rolls right in for another touchdown.
Shout out to Megan McEwen, by the way, because there was all kind of pom-poms and kicking going on in her face during that report. Folks at home couldn't tell.
With the extra point. Low kick, fielded nicely, Jordan Morrell. And a slew of Rutgers special teams players.
We were all recruited in together. I think it was one of the best recruiting classes that Frank Burns ever had. When Frank became the coach in 1973, he really turned the program around, stepped it up. We began to win. And in 76, everything lined up. It was just perfect.
It's so difficult to go undefeated in any sport, let alone throughout the course of a football season. Why were you able to have that kind of success?
We were older guys. A lot of the guys that I came into school with had a lot of experience. They played a lot of quarters, a lot of plays.
It's been part of the issue for the Wagner offense as a whole. A very efficient day so far for Wimsatt.
Don't know if Krajewski's day is done, but Damian Maisel just completed his first pass, the backup quarterback, over to Ian Umansky, and a gain of 4.
It's not the first time that this offense has been without Stephen Krajewski this season. He got banged up in the game earlier this season against Navy, and Damian Maisel had to come in and still kept them in the contest against the midshipmen.
Yeah, again, Damian Maisel, your backup quarterback. Last year's 3 games as a freshman, started against Stonehill. Picked up a touchdown in that game. On 2nd and 6, a run play kind of going nowhere, a gain of 3. Krajewski, the starter. Maisel's 3rd appearance here this year. You see his numbers this season, the 1 interception, still trying to hunt down that first touchdown of the year. But I think for both of these head coaches, their staffs, this is a game and an opportunity to play some players. Give them some reps, some snaps. Play clock's now at 3 though. We've seen a delay of game against this Wagner offense here already. They get it out in time. And Sproul is tackled by Aaron Lewis. No gain.
You referenced, Lisa, how in this game last season when Wagner played against Rutgers, they lost a number of key contributors to their football team to injury. And so when you're going to play multiple Power 5 teams or multiple FBS teams even in the same season as Wagner is doing again this year, then that's where the ability to make sure you're sustaining as much health as possible for when the conference slate comes back around in the Northeast Conference. That's the more important aspect of the really, the full scope of their season this year, trying to win a conference title.
Joshua Brown, your punter, and the first punt of the game for Wagner. Rochelle had the big return on the kickoff. His opportunity here in the punt return. Manungai takes the handoff and pushing his way to get those extra yards. Manungai strong, pushing his way to gain some 6 yards on the run.
When you think about it, LB, for what this iteration of Greg Schiano's time at Rutgers can mean. Back to his success previously, they weren't necessarily a power conference team at that point from a football perspective. And so the resources that would even go into something like just engendering additional crowd support, having pep rallies, having the boardwalk before the game to make this a real festive atmosphere.
Manungai trying to read it, spinning away, and he spun his way all the way for the first down. So 11 quick yards just on 2 carries for Kyle Manungai and 1 lost shoe.
They're doing everything they can to try to get Manungai on the ground. That may not come down to securing the tackle with his body parts.
Zachary Ricky kind of ripping it away.
I can respect that. Whatever it takes.
You were never guilty of that, were you?
Taking someone's shoe off? Not usually. I didn't say never. I said not usually.
I noticed that. Yeah. That was not 100%. I never did that. Wimsatt, play action. Floats a long ball, and again, the pass is deflected and batted down. Zachary Ricky again, so he took a shoe and then he took the pass away.
He held that one a little bit long. Didn't necessarily need to hold it. You know, it's a scissors concept where they had both receivers starting from the outside of the formation, crossing at midfield, and the amount of time that Gavin Wimsatt held the football, that allowed Zachary Ricky to recover on the route.
Wimsatt again, some time to throw. He'll tuck and run. And brought down by Armani Itote. Kyle Monungai has been the starter here for Rutgers this year with the numbers that he's put up. And you see that they've gradually increased in his career, the Scarlet Knights, and getting the most reps, the most snaps here this year.
He's always run hard and run with no fear. But now you do see a power, a durability to the way that he runs the rock, where he can be more imposing as a ball carrier than he ever has been before.
Wasn't highly recruited. There was a question on if Rutgers should take a risk on him coming out of high school. Don Bosco prep, of course. Jackson makes the grab right around midfield. Let's check in with Megan.
Guys, running back Kyle Monungai and offensive coordinator Kirk Shiraka actually have a fierce rivalry on the ping pong table. Coach Shiraka, apparently a great ping pong player. He's got a championship belt in his office. He says the title runs through me. But according to Monungai, he's taken down his coach not once, but twice. We gave Shiraka a chance to defend himself. He did admit that Kyle did technically win twice, but those were not championship bouts. So a lot of trash talking. Still, we got to see if Kyle Monungai is going to have a chance to get the belt back.
Here's a fourth down play. Thank you, Megan. Yeah, Rutgers, by the way, is 3 for 3 on fourth down plays, make it 4 for 4, and another first down pickup. Isaiah Washington makes the grab and a gain of 7. I think what Shiraka told us is they only played to 5 in those ping pong challenges, and really they should play to 21. But here's the fourth down conversion.
I mean, you got to squat at the 6. If you're a defensive back, you got to know where the first down marker is. There's a lot of space, a lot of distance being given up there by Janasa Boone.
So the Scarlet Knights just systematically pushing its way right down the field and tackled at the 35-yard line. Another pickup of 6 yards from Monungai.
There have been some games this season where we've seen the first quarter offense for Rutgers start off really hot, and then things sort of taper off a bit throughout the game. So it's a good challenge today. Even an opponent from a personnel perspective, you have an advantage, but to be able to maintain the consistency of focus, the urgency you play with to continue to excel as you get into the second half.
14 carries for 72 yards for Monungai. And Wimsatt again checking things at the line. 4 on the play clock. Monungai.
Those legs drive.
Inside run, I love it. You know, and that's what the coaching staff has told us, right? They are thrilled by this player, a great teammate, you know, incredible in strength and conditioning, and checks all the boxes intangibly, right? Regardless of what he does on the field that you want to see from someone on your roster.
His football IQ has been off the charts, and that running through contact for a guy that's only listed at 5'9", 210.
And a steady dose of about basically the same 11 here on this drive. Wimsatt again back to throw. The catch is made. Getting a foot down is Strong. Ian Strong, a true freshman, looking like a veteran on that play. Gain of 17.
Showed up on campus as a safety, and just the opportunity to get on the field presents itself more as a wide receiver. And so on a very short time on campus, they said, all right, as opposed to being a DB, let's go ahead and make a wide receiver out of Ian Strong, and he's figuring out not only the playbook, but just the way to run routes, the smoothness that you need. And if anyone who can make contested grabs, he's the one who's been most effective for the Scarlet Knights this season.
10th play of this drive, and just think about the time that Rutgers is chewing up on this drive. Monungai tripped up, stopped right at about the 11-yard line. Monungai, stiff arm,
it throws off the timing of when the hole should declare itself.
It's going to be Monungai's chance, but a loss. 4th and 5. Wimsatt flushed out of the pocket. Throws to the end zone. Drummond was his target. And incomplete. Nicholas Gadsden, they announced 47, but it was 44 Nicholas Gadsden who was offside. And puts Rutgers in a really good field position opportunity here for another score, possibly. Monungai squeezes in for his first touchdown of the day.
They list him at 345. I'm not buying it.
But how about a massive drive for the Scarlet Knights? You're talking about 7 minutes. Touchback. Sekou Kamu, your running back for the first time. So a rotation here at quarterback and now running back as Maisel stays in. Another carry for Kamu. I just really enjoyed our conversation with Hera Simiak. Yeah, he had a lot of great quotes. It's one of the reasons why I enjoyed talking to him yesterday. He called Powell sort of like a young giraffe.
That's really made a huge difference in what Tyreen Powell and some of these Scarlet Knights defenders can do this season.
Rochelle, fair catch call. Rutgers has gone through a rotation of about 8 offensive linemen in the first half. And we have a great story of a player who's on the field right now going deep downfield. Jackson trying to make the play. A flag comes out. It's going to be pass interference against Wagner. The edge of the line at the left tackle position, that's Reggie Sutton. He hasn't played a football game for Rutgers since 2021. September of 2021 against Delaware after injuring himself and been injured from that time until today. Benjamin straight up the line. Brown trying to gain more than a couple yards, but he'll stop at 2. Greg Schiano telling us he had several conversations. You sure you want to do this? You sure you want to? I mean, we can keep you a part of the team, but you know, maybe playing isn't in your future. And he said that he's a guy that just wouldn't give up, get treatment and therapy. And congrats to him for returning to the football field, a place that he loves so much. From Jaquay Jackson to Jay-Sean Benjamin, who's your running back. And Dremel gets the first down. A gain of 6 on 3rd and 5.
So it is interesting, Lisa, where we're in the 4th quarter of a game that's well in hand for Rutgers. I do wonder how much more work will Gavin Wimsatt get? Is this his final drive? You know, you could make a case they could have taken him out several series ago, as Wagner did with their starting quarterback. But that time on task that I referenced in a game where he's been under virtually 0 duress from the opponent as of late, then they just seem to want him to continue to get work and continue to improve at the craft in the Kirk Ciarrocca offense.
He's taken every snap for Rutgers here this year. Wimsatt chased and pressure coming. He gets the ball away and into Sean Bowman. But Adeyemi was the one that was making it tough. Gain of 6.
And especially passing the football. I mean, it's one thing to let the offensive line continue to just mash the opponent off the ball, but for him to continue to improve the consistency of his accuracy. It's one thing Kirk Ciarrocca really rammed that point home with us, is that he can throw the football with gusto, with accuracy, but the consistency needs to improve there, and it certainly has almost every week.
Benjamin pulled down.
You just think with Wimsatt, Lisa, we look all around the Big Ten Conference with a lot of quarterbacks who've transferred into programs, and that does create stumbling blocks a lot of times for offenses trying to figure things out. Cade McNamara at Iowa, Hudson Card at Purdue, Tanner Mordecai at Wisconsin. It's all around the conference with new guys who are just figuring things out. Gavin Wimsatt, his 3rd season leading the Scarlet Knights, and now being able to grow in the Kirk Ciarrocca offense. It's an exciting future.
3rd and 4. Benjamin gets the call, and he splits the defense and gets tackled inside the 10. Morris Vanderweel stopping the play. Benjamin with a big 27-yard chunk run.
As you can tell, they've all been coached up. Every running back, once they burst through the hole, high and tight with the football, enhancing the ball security. When I asked Kirk Ciarrocca, what have you been most impressed by with your offense so far this season? He said the way we've protected the football and coaching the running backs to all have that high, tight carry angle. That's a big part of why. Wimsatt is killing the play. Seen that a lot today.
There's been 4 rushing touchdowns, none of them yet from Benjamin. Tries to cut it back inside. Ankle tackle. Prince Hall is all over it. Benjamin gets another chance. Trying to squeeze his way through, pushes the pile. No signal yet. They're going to check it out.
Then they go in and unpile the bodies.
Touchdown! There's Benjamin's touchdown.
How do they know he didn't just keep kind of bear crawling forward a little bit? That's what I'd do if I was him.
Patel with the extra point try. Make it 45-3.
Have a sense for everything that went into where Reggie Sutton is at now, returning to on-field action.
Makatami, June Makatami again with the kickoff. Rutgers, by the way, the last 2 drives, almost 13 minutes. And I hope it never stops here today. Again, injured himself in 2021, practice, actually preparing for the Michigan game. And has been sitting out for the last 2 years. That's a gain of 2, a new running back, Peter Partillo. And so Kanga will be on the sideline. The defensive lineman here for Rutgers on 2nd and 8. Mazel's your quarterback. Partillo is your running back. And Partillo across the 30-yard line. A gain of 5. Carnell Davis recording his first tackle.
And Megan McEwen did confirm for us that she heard from Rutgers, coach's decision. Tom Masella ended up determining that Stephen Krajewski wouldn't continue in the game, but not for any sort of injury circumstance. During both sidelines, even at this point in the 4th quarter, reminding the players on the field how important these reps are. These opportunities that guys who, largely a lot of the bodies on the field, backups, but each team wanting to continue to pursue championship level football the rest of the season.
Oh, what a good run, spinning out, picking up the first down. What a move, Partillo.
Very quick, very nifty.
Transfer from Rutgers, by the way. Didn't see any action in Piscataway, but against his old program and a gain of 10.
It's an outside zone play. Gets some knockback at the point, but Partillo able to find a way to keep his running angle heading up the field, getting vertical quickly. Then a nifty little spin move to continue advancing.
He's listed at 5'9", a senior, 180. His senior year, he was New Jersey's leading rusher, over 2,300 yards, 34 touchdowns in 2019.
You say listed at 5'9" as though you don't buy it.
Well, I was listed at 5'6", and I didn't buy that either. So yes, I don't know if I'm buying heights. And Goy with the tackle. You're 5'7", right?
Well, obviously.
Shrunk a little bit since your playing days.
Gravity just catching up with me as I advance.
It happens in old age, 2nd and 10. Partillo again, being brought down from behind. Keyshawn Griffin, no stats in his career until there. And all the coaches, you've got Angoy, we've called out, Griffin, another guy, and some of these defensive coaches saying, keep an eye out for some of these guys who really kind of playing well in practice. They call him Smiley, right?
Yeah, and it's a little tongue-in-cheek. They don't see him smiling that often unless they put a lot of effort into getting Keyshawn Griffin to get a smile on his face.
Got to be fun for these coaches to see some of these players, see some of their practice time project into game playing reps. Partillo might have lost it. Rutgers saying no, they're saying that he's down. Partillo was down before the ball popped loose, a pickup of 5. And Abram Wright with a tackle.
They got some alley runners for the Scarlet Knights, just coming in here laying the lumber.
Listen in. We do all of those for Anthony because he just gets a smile from ear to ear when he gets to listen into all the tackles.
Yeah, start calling me Smiley.
4th and 2.
Timeout, Wagner, first of the half.
So I think after a performance like today, they likely will be ranked come Monday.
Wagner thought about going for it on 4th down. They'll punt instead to Rochelle. Makes a fair catch call right at the 11-yard line. It's a punt of 39.
Michigan State can really give Iowa some fits.
Johnny Shepard taking his first snaps of the season as the 3rd-string quarterback, and Aaron Young getting his first handoff of the game. Plays behind Evan Simon and Wimsatt. And we had word that Evan Simon was listed as questionable. He did warm up here today, but possibly just playing it safe is one of the reasons maybe that we're seeing Shepard, and also just to give him some time. Shepard with the give and a big pickup. Aaron Young looking healthy and trying to get healthier. He returned to play against Michigan. He gets 16 yards on that play. Remember, he was injured 2 years ago in the Gator Bowl.
It's an impressive looking run from Avery Young. Coming right at you, the goal post. Young looked for a moment like he was going to hit his head on the goal post if no one grabbed him.
Young once again chewing up some clock. It's about halfway to the sticks. Scarlet Knights have scored on all their possessions today. 6 touchdowns and 1 field goal. Shepard over to Toure, and Fama Toure has his first career catch. The younger brother, of course, of Muhammad. They get to play together with Muhammad playing in his 5th season. Play clock to 4. Young has been effective with that kind of run and just steamrolls his way for another first down. He gains 11.
The ball carrier.
You can see why the Rutgers coaches are super excited about this stable of running backs that they have.
Left tackle, you got the old and the young, the experience and the newness in the lineup right there. Reggie Sutton at the 2nd level. That creates the gaping run lane for Aaron Young to be able to feature.
Shepard with some time to throw, and a running throw he makes. Max Patterson, gain of 8. And a flag is down. Right over by the 25-yard line. Right now, the play is a gain of 8.
Ineligible downfield. Offense, number 70. 5-yard
I was
penalty.
hoping.
First down.
You're just hoping they looked away?
I thought that maybe they didn't see him. Because, of course, I'm eyeballing Reggie the entire way, every single snap right now. I was kind of hoping. He was about 5 yards downfield. Oh, maybe they let it slide.
Well, you know, sometimes there's a little rust you got to shake off after not playing for 2 years.
It's from the left tackle, works up towards the linebacker, and then just continues up the field as the play extends. That's what the RPO does, because the lineman will end up a few yards down the field on, something where it's the same snap for them, run or pass.
1st and 15.
Drive him, Reggie. There you go.
Look at that. That was an early whistle. Aaron Young said, "Excuse me, I'm not done."
Former Michigan State commit, Aaron Young. It references brother Avery. Let's see. I mean, it looks like the pile's still moving. When's the whistle blow?
Forward momentum.
Yep.
Second and 8. Catch is made left side.
Sir Henry.
Oh, right.
Well, so I think the Scarlet Knight is all armored up. And then the guy in the puffy outfit.
Oh, look at this. Motoring his way, moving those legs, Aaron Young. Another gain of 9 yards. Stopped just short of the first down. 2nd and 1. Aaron Young is showing some things.
We've been describing how deep this backfield is, right? I mean, the coaching staff, it's not just lip service for Rutgers. Greg Schiano told us, I think I'm about a year away from really having the depth of the full roster where I want it to be.
Young nearly gets tripped up, stays on his feet, stretches for the end zone, but is short. He gets 9. 1st and goal. Justin Garcia with the touchdown-saving tackle.
This inside zone. Eye discipline is key for the defenders. But if you ask me, running behind number 70. Let's watch Reggie Sutton go to work.
Young just fell down. Lost his footing after the handoff.
It's been a while since he got this many carries in a row.
Again, returned to play last year. Missed the last 8 games of last season because of an injury. And again, was injured 2 years ago in that Gator Bowl. That Gator Bowl game where they had about 9 days to prepare for that. Young pushing, motoring, is not fitting. That's the way he moved down the field this entire drive. And Aaron Young has his first touchdown of the season.
But yes, the puffy mascot, I believe, is Sir Henry. And then
I'm glad you're circling back to this to clarify.
the armored one. I was all over that boardwalk, by the way. People were in a good mood.
You were a true fan of the boardwalk. I was proud of you. Getting here early and taking in that great side attraction here on game day.
So early. Building continuity of coaches.
I mean, one of the best starts in the Northeast Conference, 2-0. But falling here to Rutgers, and Greg Schiano now has 10 straight non-conference regular season wins.